Hi, everybody. This is your announcement for Government 100 for the week of September 30th. So we are going into week 7 of the semester, and I want to thank everyone for sending me your well wishes. I think that positive energy helped. I actually was feeling better just a couple days later. So thanks again for your well wishes. And yeah, so I liked it a little discussion about the football teams. Oh, I just froze. Sorry about that. Anyway, may your football team win today, okay, if you are a football fan. Sorry to say that my college team lost yesterday. It's not turning out to be a good season. And ironically, my university played the university my husband went to. So it's always kind of a tense weekend in our house when USC plays University of Washington. But this year, Jim's team won, so he gets to brag. Okay, all right. So anyway, that's I know that's not really related to what we're doing. Um, all right. So this week, early performance grades will be coming out on my NMSU, and these are grades that are they're official, but they're not going to go into transcript or anything, but they're really just a way for you to know how you're doing in the class. However, you should know how you're doing in our class because your grades are available in Canvas all the time. All right, so I will be using the SU system of grading just for these early performance grades. So if you are doing fine, you'll get an S, and by fine, that's like D and above. Okay, if you are not doing fine, then you will get a U. Okay, which is everything below a D. All right, so be looking out for that in my NMSU. Okay, I have graded your papers on should convicted felons have their voting rights restored that you wrote a while back, and I think all in all, people did pretty well. The hardest part of this kind of an assignment is the critical thinking part. So I think everyone does, a good job of explaining and describing the different viewpoints. And I think where the difficulty lies is in coming up, well, not coming up, but deducing, okay, deriving your own point of view based on the evidence. That's just something that's hard to do, and I still am learning how to think critically. So, if I were to say, what was the most difficult part about that assignment, I think for people, I think that part was the conclusion. Okay, so the other thing, a few of you struggled with APA. Okay, and I know that, if you are in high school or if you are in your first year of college and you are currently taking English 111, you might be just now learning how to, to cite your sources and to use either MLA or APA style. So I realize makes it difficult for you. But if you are, but it's still, I still have to have that, okay? Because in academic writing, we have to acknowledge where our information comes from. Okay, so it's really important to use those phrases like according to, Kramer in the article, blah blah blah, and then to write your paraphrase of that thought from the reading. It's very important to reference those readings, and several people had trouble with that, where there were no references to the readings. I knew that you were using the material, okay, from the reading, but you weren't making reference to it, and that's really that could be considered plagiarism, okay? And I didn't come down that hard because I know that most of you are still learning how to do this, all right? But it's important to be aware of. If you're taking English 111 right now, you probably have one of these, okay? You can use this in every class that gives you written assignments, all right? And it's fantastic. In this little book, you have a guide to all the different styles, okay? And this is APA, and it tells you, it gives you tips on how to support a thesis, how to organize your ideas, and avoiding plagiarism. Um, And most, importantly, if you want to skip to the chase, but I recommend you read it all, is it tells you how to put in those citations. Okay, so really important. And this is, this is just a great little book. So if you have this, please use it. Okay, and I think this is probably easier to use than the online sources, to be honest. All right, so there are a lot of online sources like Purdue OWL and so forth. But if you have one of these, use it. Get your money's worth, man. These things aren't cheap. So make sure you use that. Okay, it will help you. Okay, so that's my public service announcement for today. I will be releasing the grades on your papers shortly so that you can see what you got there. And I will also be grading your discussion that you did last week in Module 6. Okay, so this week we will move on to the presidency in Module 7. And I think this is an interesting uh, module. So you're going to read chapters 6 and 7 in our book, American Government, and then you're going to watch part of a video. And so this is kind of cool. I used to do this in my face-to-face version of Government 100. And so I've brought it into the online setting. And so you're going to watch a video, and it's an actual debate, okay, like a real live debate. And it's very cool. It was made a few years back when President Obama was still president, but I think that the subject matter is still quite relevant for today. So they'll be talking about President Obama. I mean, not too much, but they'll just make references to him by name. But it's still, I think the subject is relevant today. And so the topic of this debate is going to be about the authority that the president has to make war. Okay, so there we go again with those separation of powers. Okay, because in the Constitution, here's a little quiz for you: who has the authority to declare war as written in the Constitution? Okay, so the answer is, hopefully you got it, it's Congress. Okay, but Congress has sort of moved the authority to deploy troops into the executive, into the president's hands. Now the president can get authorization from Congress. Okay, and they're going to talk a lot in this video. Excuse me, about something called the AUMF, and it's the authorization for the use of military force. It's very important because in that legislation that was passed by Congress, Congress gave President Bush, this is back in 2001, right after the 9/11 attacks, sorry, my throat is dry, gave President Bush the authority to use military force to respond to those attacks. Okay, so so now the question is, did President Obama have authority to use military force later on, okay, during his term? Okay, so in this, set aside whatever the feelings you have about President Obama. Okay, it's not about him. It's about the president's ability, authority, congressional authority, constitutional authority, really, not congressional, constitutional authority to use military force. All right, so you're going to watch about 36 minutes of this video. The whole thing's an hour and a half. You don't have to watch the whole thing. You can if you want, but just watch 36 minutes for our discussion. And then there are going to be some discussion questions for you in Module 7. Okay? So that's what we're doing for this week. Oh boy, this is a long video. I'm going to stop it there. If you have any questions, contact me. You know where to find me. And I will be talking to you again soon. Bye.